I'm Carla Boos. I'm guest curator for the Pittsburgh International Festival of Firsts. The Pittsburgh International Festival of Firsts is a really exciting thing that comes to Pittsburgh about every 5 years, brought by the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. It's happened 3 times, and this is the 4th iteration. This festival in 2018 is quite an expanded festival.
This time around, the festival has expanded greatly. I would say that the volume of shows is about 3 times as many. So a much longer festival. It was 5 or 6 week festival in 2013 and is now an 8-week festival.
The previous ones have had maybe a dozen works. This one has 30 works from 20 countries. It's really a big, exciting festival encompassing music, theater, dance, and visual art. Now that the festival is on, it's really all about welcoming the artists to town, making sure that what their expectations were when they get here are all good, that the theaters can accommodate them. Now, for all of that, there is the fantastic staff of the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust.
The Festival First is a product of the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. The Cultural Trust is the largest presenter of performance in Pittsburgh. It's a very large organization that brings in things that only it could. And so without the trust, the city wouldn't have any of the world-class things happening here. 2004 was the first festival. Then in 2008, there was a festival. 2013 was a festival first. That brought the Rubber Duck Project. Then the festival this year in 2018, in which we're mostly produced by the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust, but also working with guest curator Carla Boos.
They hired me about 2 years ago for 18 months. I traveled all over the world to see things and choose things that would come to Pittsburgh, along with other wonderful programmers who are on staff at the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust.
As of November, I've been with the Cultural Trust for 9 years. And so started as an intern, then was a programming associate, then manager, and then in 2015, they promoted me to director, meaning that I programmed the things and got to choose some of the work that came here for the festival.
The thing about this very broad festival is that there's lots for everybody. There is no one audience. We talked about how we were going to represent diversity in our audiences in Pittsburgh and really address the world. We wanted things from Asia, we wanted things from Africa and South America, as well as from Europe, which has been a little bit more typical in the past festivals. So it's a broader approach this time altogether. Some of the folks that I'm most excited about include Deborah Kolker from Brazil. She's an amazing choreographer who was responsible for the Rio Olympics opener. I'm really excited about In the Tunnel, very contemporary work that's about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and it has some really interesting form to it that invites the audience to express opinions on the subject matter. Baxter Theatre of South Africa, seminal work of that company called Karu Moose.
The company we presented last week on the Dance Council season was from China. That company had never been to the US before. Not the piece nor the company had been to the US. And it was a Pittsburgh exclusive, meaning that they flew from China, performed in Pittsburgh, and then went back to China. So the only people in the United States who saw that piece happen were here.
I've been devoted as an artist myself to experimentation, to seeing what is interesting in the theater, and my path has been to look outside this country for folks who might be speaking in a theatrical language that's new to me.
For me, the mission of the Festival First is to create a situation in which Pittsburgh is a world-class art city. Some of these things will only be seen in Pittsburgh and will be seen for the first time by anyone in the US in Pittsburgh, or the first time in the world in Pittsburgh. I think that's the takeaway, that amazing things happen and you don't have to go to them, that they come to you through this festival and the work of the Cultural Trust.